Toronto, known for its cultural diversity and emerging hip-hop scene, one man's journey took an unexpected turn, leading him from the six to the bright lights of law.
It was another shot. It was another shot. That's why we just took the, it was another sub. That's why we took the shot. Shout out to Slizzy. What that? Nah, shout out NS. Yeah, we on YG right now, though. Crazy story on YG. YG the cuz, too.
Los Angeles, then ending in a harrowing experience in Ohio. Join me as we explore the life and trials of a Toronto rapper who went on the run for a crime he supposedly didn't commit.
Sunny morning and 20-year-old Nathan Lee is heading out for a bike ride, but steps from his home, Lee is gunned down at point-blank range. Toronto police have identified one of the suspects as 21-year-old Shamari White.
He is known to the police.
CBC.
And that's how you do it. You see how they just walked away.
Casually.
They didn't even run nothing. They just walked away.
Casually.
Word.
Casually. That's how you supposed to do it. That don't mean you ain't gonna get caught, though.
It's less of a chance.
I mean, you gonna get caught later. CCTV always gonna get you. Look, they got him right here.
CBC News has learned 21-year-old Shamari White.
He is known to the police.
CBC News has learned he has a criminal record. They released today's video in hopes of finding White and identifying the second suspect.
Yeah, my son was on Demon. Like, that wasn't no play shooting either. That wasn't no play. He stood over him.
Released today's video in hopes of finding White and identifying the second.
Son just got lucky. That was what line?
He survived?
Yeah, I think son survived. Did he survive or he dead? I don't even know. I think son survived though.
Year-old Shamari White.
He is known to the police.
CBC News has learned he has a criminal record. They released today's video in hopes of finding White and identifying the second suspect. Yesterday.
Nah, fuck we coming, man. North side of J shit, man. Fuck the ops, man. Nah, the fuck we coming. These niggas clicking up like bitches, man. And my blue tea on your block, and now fuck we coming, man. I'm on your block in my blue tea, big Glock in my blue tea. If I see an Aki get shot in my blue tea.
Shamari White, better known by his stage name WhyG, is originally from Rexdale, from a block known as The Towns. He didn't spend much time there as his mother was often busy from work and would leave him with his aunt who lived 15 minutes away on the north side of Jane and Finch, on a corner known as Shoreham Court. Right across from Shoreham is Driftwood, a block known to have cultivated some of the city's most talented artists. From the likes of Pressa to Toronto rap pioneer Robin Banks, Driftwood has been dominating Toronto's underground rap scene for a near decade. But before these talents emerged, the block was known for something far more sinister.
Toronto police conducted a number of early morning raids targeting a street gang known as the Driftwood Crips.
The Driftwood Crips street gang, a gang police allege is a criminal investigation with cells across the country and who have no regard for public safety.
Members of this group have been involved in numerous reckless acts, including shootings, kidnappings, firearm offenses, armed sexual assaults, robberies, drug trafficking.
Nigga said armed sexual assault. With Pressa had the nigga, not with Pressa, but allegedly, because he beat it. They had the nigga tied up and I forgot what, it was violating, homie. I forgot what they.
Didn't they make him like give some other nigga? Like,
yeah, I think he gave another nigga some top pulls, some matting. I think they filmed it too. That's crazy. That was crazy.
The country and who have no regard for public safety.
Members of this group have been involved in numerous reckless acts, including shootings, kidnappings, firearm offenses, armed sexual assaults, robberies, drug trafficking, and other serious criminal offenses.
June 13th, 2007, Project Cryptic was underway. The takedown followed an 11-month investigation by Toronto police and other forces, including Barrie, Niagara, York Region, and the RCMP. It involved more than 700 officers carrying out 130 search warrants, 37 of them in the Jane and Finch area. Along with the 95 arrests, police seized more than $1 million in various drugs, nearly 3 dozen firearms, $221,000 in Canadian currency, and $5,500 in U.S. currency. At the epicenter of the project were the Driftwood Crips. Originating out of Driftwood Court, the crew first caught the eye of investigators a year prior to the raids, after a man was fatally shot and 3 others were wounded as cars raced down a residential street in Rexdale. Although the survivors refused to give information to police, investigators were able to tie the incident to the Driftwood Crips, who were the main rival of several gangs across Rexdale. Then on May 23rd, 15-year-old Driftwood Court resident Jordan Manners was fatally shot in a stairwell at his high school. 2 weeks later, a shootout would unfold right outside of his family home. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. This pushed the Jane and Finch neighborhood over the edge and demanded city leaders to crack down on the gun violence that was clearly infecting their neighborhood. The resistance resulted in the creation of a 2-member provincial commission to investigate what can be done to address youth violence in the struggling corridor. Some longtime residents still weren't convinced action was being taken, with one quoted saying, "It's the same thing every summer." Police stormed the area, and then a couple of weeks later, they release all of them back in the same place. This wasn't the issue with the Driftwood Crips though, it was actually far worse. According to court documents, even after the arrests of the quote-unquote 3 generals, the crew continued to thrive because of 2 factors. 1, several high-ranking members were able to conduct operations while incarcerated. And 2, while a heap of youngsters were recruited sometime after the raids, some were already next in line to take head of operations.
The Driftwood Crips have a clear hierarchy, with some of its leaders even operating and directing from within correctional facilities. This point speaks directly to the influence and power of the group's leadership.
A detective from the Toronto police told journalists, "The people that are in the Driftwood Crips were born and raised in that area. So, you're looking at their brothers, their sisters, their sons, their daughters. It sort of creates this code of silence." After the mass takedown, it wouldn't take long for the crew to start making noise again, but this time, they were under a new label, the Young Buck Killers. Court documents listed several members. Notable names include rappers WhyG, Pressa, GD, FB, and the man himself, WhyG, who was just 17 at the time. All 5 men were essentially the new foot soldiers for the crew. They were directly involved in the trafficking of firearms and drugs, primarily cocaine. The new generals to take head of operations were Mohammed Hersey, FB's older brother Gould Mahadale aka Gully, and Press's older brother Shermar Gardner aka Bundog. Not long after the mass arrests of the Driftwood OGs, these guys took lead, and within 3 years, they were a thriving criminal organization. They had managed to expand their operations as far north as Sudbury as well as across Western Canada. They had even become the main Fenty supplier for a high-ranking Hells Angels member. Operations grew at such a rapid pace that it only took 3 years after Project Cryptic for Toronto police to catch wind of YBK and organized their second project targeting the crew. By September 2011, wiretaps would be placed on several young buck killers, including WhyG. What investigators would hear over the course of their mere 3-month investigation would add up to nearly 300 pages worth of evidence, ranging from conversations about shootings to trafficking firearms. On October 1st, 2011, WhyG robbed a man who went by the moniker Brains. Among the things he robbed was a chain. In a wiretap call the next day, Bundog talked at length about WhyG's robbery of Brains, calling it a quote-unquote young buck thing. Later that same day, WhyG was arrested at 390 Driftwood Avenue in connection to an alleged domestic dispute. He identified himself as Shane Campbell and said he resided there. Apparently, that was enough to fool the cop, as he was released and all of the property found on him at the time of his arrest, including the chain he robbed from Brains, was returned to him, except a BlackBerry Bold. The phone wasn't returned because WhyG said it didn't belong to him and he didn't know where he got it from. Upon further investigation,
That was the good BlackBerry. That was the one with the touchscreen.
Bold. BDM.
because WhyG said it didn't belong to him and he didn't know where he got it from. Upon further investigation, the phone was found to be registered to a man by the name of Quincy Taylor. After the completion of Project Marvel, it would be revealed Quincy Taylor was the alias Bundog would use when conducting his drug operation. 2 days later, WhyG would call Bundog and tell him an elaborate tale about losing his trap phone. He said he was in a taxi with a gun along with several other people when they were suddenly stopped by police. WhyG said he jumped out of the taxi and ran, and while the police chased him, the others got away with the gun. When WhyG mentioned the feds probably have his trap phone as well, Bundog wasn't happy, knowing there were pictures and videos of his illicit activity on the phone. 2 weeks after that conversation, at approximately 9 p.m., shots were...
Hey, if you're watching this, man, be smarter with your phones, man. All that shit is not necessary in your phone, my nigga. All that shit in your phone, incriminating shit, bro. The fuck is you got that in your phone for, bro?
Phone. 2 weeks after that conversation, at approximately 9 p.m., shots were fired inside Wilson subway station in Toronto. A video from the station shows a man being chased down a flight of stairs by WhyG and another YBK member. That evening, phone calls were intercepted, and investigators could hear WhyG discussing what had occurred at Wilson Station with his affiliates, with one person saying that the incident occurred because some youths were moving slimy. 1 month later, wiretaps on...
You can't say a nigga dumb, though, because a lot of niggas make this mistake. And this is 2011. Niggas was moving stupid back then, younger.
The same exact day?
I mean, yeah, you know, some niggas is not... It's not like, I mean, niggas is young. You gotta think about 2011. They say he was 17, nigga. Nigga ain't thinking about none of that. Nigga quick to,
seeing a lot of indictments.
Yeah, like this is dumb. Nigga just happy to tell nigga, you know, I just bolt this nigga. Nigga can't wait.
2011 niggas was moving hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's mad long ago, bro. Niggas wasn't thinking about no wiretaps and shit like that.
Like 12 years ago.
Niggas was moving dusty, nigga. Or I don't know, that's crazy. You doing that in 2023, then yeah, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, because you seeing niggas getting indicted. You wasn't seeing niggas going to jail, wiretap shit like that back then. Now, nigga, you seeing that shit every day.
There's cameras everywhere, too.
There's cameras everywhere.
WhyG discussing what had occurred at Wilson Station with his affiliates, with one person saying that the incident occurred because some youths were moving slimy. 1 month later, wiretaps on Bundog's phone were intercepted and he could be heard giving WhyG instructions on where to obtain a firearm somewhere in Hamilton. 11 days after that conversation, YBK member GD was shot in the foot in Hamilton. Moments later, Bundog was called by one of his associates who had seen what happened. Bundog told them to call 911, which they did. A few minutes later, before the police arrived at the scene, the associate called Bundog back and asked him what they should do with the gun they had. Bundog instructed them to give the gun to another associate who was also there, Prince Asante, and have him leave. Bundog then met up with WhyG and they joined up with Asante in a black Charger, but they were stopped by police a few minutes later. Asante was arrested, but Bundog and WhyG ran and escaped custody. The police subsequently found a loaded .45 caliber automatic handgun on the floor of the Charger. Based off wiretapped conversations later that night between Bundog, WhyG, and several other young buck killers, it was clear they knew who shot GD, and there was talk of retaliation. However, Toronto police believed they had a sufficient amount of evidence to establish WhyG and his fellow YBK associates had access to multiple guns which were used not only for protection while carrying out their drug programs, but also for retaliation if required. So, 2 days later, at approximately 5 o'clock in the morning, nearly 900 law enforcement officers from various departments began executing 67 search warrants simultaneously across Toronto, Hamilton, Ottawa, and Surrey, British Columbia.
Handguns, automatic rifles, and more than $100,000 in cash. Items seized during yesterday's cross-country crackdown.
We're confident we've made a dent in some of the organized crime.
You gonna do the double shot?
I said you gonna do the double. That's when you pull both of them at the same time.
No, that's what you do.
Put some champagne.
You say you gonna do the double shot up? Oh.
Yeah, he gonna take a double shot for that bullshit. You don't need to say that. That's him. Yeah, he said some crazy shit. Not everybody. He gotta take that shot.
Has been plaguing some of these communities.
But Kemi Olenloyo isn't so sure.
We have seen these things developing.
The community activist says she knows many of those arrested, some as young as 14, facing charges that include attempted murder. They appeared in court today, one by one, and many have already been released.
If your children have guns, moms, look in their rooms, check. You might have a killer on the dinner table.
No!
The mass takedown would be dubbed Project...
She said you might have a killer at the dinner table.
No.
So send your son to jail. Shut your ass up, bitch. That bitch just gotta be tight. Yeah. Talk about you might gotta kill it. So if your son was a killer, you gonna send him to jail. Hey, shout out, hey, good looking, hey.
On the dinner table.
The mass takedown would be dubbed Project Marvel, and according to court documents, the first arrest was none other than YG. On December 13th, 2011, at 5:07 a.m., YG's residence was...
I ain't gonna lie, YG was turning up out there. Yeah. YG was turning up 2011, 2010, nigga. Okay, it makes sense.
December 13th, 2011, at 5:07 a.m., YG's residence was raided. He, along with another YBK member, were placed in the living room. It was there when officers found a fully loaded .40 caliber Taurus handgun with the serial number scratched off in a flower pot and 2 phones. Within these phones contained 3 videos titled Hard Oz 1, Hard Oz 2, and Hard Oz 3. They begin with a close-up of a pot on the front burner. In the pot, in what appears to be boiling water, is a Pyrex measuring cup containing a white substance. As the camera...
Niggas always gotta record themselves, bro. Why? Why, bro? A lot of niggas do this dumb shit, though. Niggas be posting pictures. I mean, niggas be having pictures of themselves with guns in their phone. Like, why?
Case like that too.
Why, bro? Like, why?
Appears to be boiling water is a Pyrex measuring cup containing a white substance. As the camera pulls back, 2 individuals are standing before the stove. Investigators were able to identify Bundog as the person who is stirring the white substance and YG as the person recording. YG was subsequently arrested and charged with a list of offenses ranging from drug trafficking to firearms possession. With the substantial evidence collected during the 3-month investigation, it would take more than 4 years to reach the sentencing stage. The first ones up to hear their fate were the 3 generals of YBK. Muhammad...
the grip too.
Oh, he got caught with the grip?
I think so. Or they probably charged him for the...
They said they caught him for it.
Yeah,
in the car.
Was in the crib.
In the car too. Remember on the chase and they got away, him and Bundog.
Yeah, they arrested the other nigga for the gun.
Yeah, but they knew them niggas was in the whip. Because he talking about it. How would he know?
Nah, they raided the crib and they found a gun in the crib with them 2 niggas in the living room.
But he got caught on the wiretap saying...
Yeah, all of that.
Boy, they got caught, they got away with the joint and all that shit. That he was in the taxi. That's the first one.
Stage. The first ones up to hear their fate were the 3 generals of YBK. Muhammad Hersey, who Justice Stephen Clark called one of the gang's principal leaders, was sentenced to 13 years in prison. Gully was handed an 8-year sentence and was deported to Somalia. Bundog was sentenced to 10 years and was released in 2020. For his part in Project Marvel, YG served 2 years and was released by January of 2014. He was arrested again in November of 2015 and found guilty of breaking and entering. He was sentenced to 1 month in jail, 2 years of probation, and handed a...
I ain't never seen a nigga get that much time for that.
Breaking and entering. He was sentenced to 1 month in...
For breaking and entering? Oh, nah, I thought he said trespassing.
2 years in probation.
That's mad, though. That's crazy.
Jail, 2 years of probation, and handed a lifetime weapons ban. After YG was released in January of 2016, he laid low for a bit. Around this time,
he just can't never have a gun.
No, it said lifetime weapon ban.
Yeah, weapon ban.
So if he get caught with a weapon, he probably getting life.
He ain't gonna get life. He probably gonna get smoked though.
Ain't gonna smoke him though.
Yeah, he probably get like 10 or something.
Several of his Driftwood affiliates were rising in Toronto's underground rap scene, so he would often accompany them to their studio sessions. Naturally, he began rapping with them. He would appear on his first track, Chicken Coop, on May 9th, 2016, which didn't see much success, but 24 hours later, he would drop a track some would regard as a certified hit classic.
I told her that I love her just to fuck her. If she try and set me up, I have to dust her. I give her bricks and then I turn her to a runner. And if she from my R block, then I don't trust her.
Nearly 7 years after its release, Her, by YG, still holds replay value amongst Toronto rap fans. In the music video, YG can be seen donning a Free Press Machine shirt. This is because Pressa at the time, who often went by the moniker Press Machine, was incarcerated. Coincidentally, just 2 weeks after the release of what was supposed to be his breakout song, YG's path to success would take an unexpected turn, as he would find himself in a situation similar to his close friend.
Sunny morning, and 20-year-old Nathan Lee is heading out for a bike ride, but steps from his home, Lee is gunned down at point-blank range. The video released by police today shows the two suspects approach. Both are armed with handguns. It's hard.
20-year-old Nathan Lee always loved to be outdoors riding his bike in the fresh air of his Jamestown neighborhood.
My son was on that. He was on that. He walked right up on him like.
But you see how they gonna paint the picture that who is this person?
This nigga that got boomed.
Yeah, but they gonna paint the picture like he was a nice guy.
They probably not.
Like all the time outside.
Probably not.
Nathan Lee always loved to be outdoors riding his bike in the fresh air of his Jamestown neighborhood, where he lived for nearly 12 years. But on a clear, bright morning doing just that, Nathan was brazenly shot when two men made an attempt on his life just steps away from his home. He survived, but was left paralyzed from the incident. At the time, the shooting was just the latest in a string of gun violence targeting Jamestown residents. It happened not far from where Candace Rochelle Bobb, a 35-year-old woman who was 5 months pregnant, was killed a month prior by bullets that hit her in the back seat of a car. Her baby was removed through emergency C-section, but passed a month later. According to Toronto police, they linked both incidents to a decade-long gang feud between the Young Buck Killers and Rexdale's Jamestown Crips. They went on saying that Pressa, who was incarcerated at the time for the kidnapping case, was jumped and beaten in jail by other rival gang members. The attack occurred 1 week before the Nathan Lee incident, which left investigators to believe the ambush on Nathan was an act of revenge by the Young Buck Killers. After police released footage of Nathan's ambush, his mother Tracy was able to identify one of the men seen in the video. In fact, the man once lived 2 doors down from her. It was WhyG. 2 days after being identified, WhyG's face was plastered all over the city and a Canada-wide warrant was sent out for his arrest. Fearing for his safety and facing serious legal charges, he made the difficult decision to leave behind his hometown and embark on a journey to escape the long arm of the law. WhyG arrived in Los Angeles, a city known for its glitz and glamour. In the city of angels, he continued to create music, reflecting on the life he left behind in Toronto and the dreams he still pursued. In his own words, he was just living the life.
If these guys are really gonna try to fuck over my life, I'm gonna try to have some much entertainment as I can, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in America, I was doing the most. I was going to LA, Melrose and Fairfax, I was going to a hell of fucking parties, house parties. I was going to shows, I was seeing every rapper there is. I made a song with Jay Kirsch, and when I was over there, I was making money too, you know? Like anywhere I go at the end of the day, I just, like the way how I was raised and the way where I'm from, like, since I was 14, I've been making money. Since I was a little kid, I've been making money. You could put me anywhere in the world. Pick me up and drop me in China. I'm going to make money if you drop me in China, you know?
While on the run, WhyG would feature on tracks with Jay Critch and Driftwood affiliate 21 Neat, but under the moniker 35 Neat, possibly in hopes of throwing off the feds. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as WhyG's run from the law would last no more than 2 years. He was caught all the way in Columbus, Ohio, and formally charged with attempted murder. He was extradited back to Toronto, where he was welcomed with a media frenzy.
He lived in Columbus, Ohio, too. Yeah, that's a fact. That was a bit ago. Go look at it.
Charged with attempted murder. He was extradited back to Toronto.
Cam was where?
Columbus.
Cam?
What? Yeah, he used to live in Columbus too.
Nigga, we was little kids. Cam was probably, Cam was in, I don't know where Cam was at.
So, where he was welcomed with a media frenzy, which seemed to have caught him off guard.
Tell me about that experience, that moment that popped up on IG, where like you're coming through the airport with the handcuffed with the people. What was going through your mind then?
No, like I didn't see that, right? I just hearing about it, but at the end of the day, I wasn't there. I was in jail when they're posting that shit, right?
Okay.
But when they brought me to the airport and I'm seeing this shit, like I came to the airport, I'm cuffed up, and I just seen like 2 white guys. First I seen like bare people, and I seen like white guys with cameras, but I wasn't really paying them no mind. I didn't think it was that serious until I seen him just up the camera and they're pressing the button. But the button doesn't sound like a regular camera. It sounds like a machine gun. Like, welcome home.
Just one.
Oh, wow. Saying, what the fuck's going on? You know what I'm saying? And then I start telling the police to put on my hood and shit. Just playing games, you know, trying to put on my hood.
As luck would have it, when WhyG was captured, Pressa would be cleared of all charges in his kidnapping case. He would then spend $50K and provide YG with the same lawyer who helped clear.
Real nigga. Nigga put 50K on a lawyer for his mans. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Or phone him grave.
Case. He would then spend $50K and provide YG with the same lawyer who helped clear his name. It looks like that $50K was well spent, as YG would spend no more than 7 months in pretrial custody before he was cleared of all charges. That's right, even with the CCTV footage, and after going on the run for 2 years, he was still cleared of all charges. Also, the victim refusing to testify probably helped his case as well. Nevertheless, after being released, he wasted no time hopping back into the studio to share his side of the story.
I triple like condos, nigga, you snitch. It's the like Rondo. They try to frame me. It was a scandal.
In collaboration with Pressa and Juno Award-winning producer Wonder Girl, YG's Gamble hit 250,000 views in just under 2 weeks after its release. Judging by the comments, it was clear fans were shocked by his abrupt return to the scene, but YG wasn't fazed by the noise. If anything, he was fueled by it.
In the trap with your auntie. She up a brick in her panty. It's YG and Houdini. I think she wanna
Alongside Houdini, YG would earn his first certified gold record just 2 months after the release of Gamble. Dubbed Toronto's national anthem by supporters, it appears Anti would be the spark YG needed as he began releasing hits at breakneck speed soon after. With songs like Was, Mr. Walkthrough, and Neat Machine 2, he amassed a large enough catalog for him to begin performing at sold-out venues by the end of the year. He quickly gained a reputation for his captivating energy and raw storytelling as his bars captured the essence of Toronto's underworld. Not even a year after going on the run and beating an attempted murder charge, YG was already competing against some of the biggest names in the scene. He finished 2019 strong with 4 projects, and heading into 2020, he continued to set his mark on the scene.
I'm a real stepper, don't watch her step. In the trap house and vest. My ops gay like Lil Bur.
They said let's take a shot, gang.
Shot o'clock. Yeah.
Free Tory.
Free Tory. Free Tory. Yeah, I like that one.
You not laughing at that, you laughing at you.
It's crazy. Free my guy Tory.
Take that shot, nigga. We don't talk. Yeah, we don't want to talk, nigga. Yeah, we don't want to talk.
I think we all can agree 2020 was a memorable year for everyone, to say the least. But for Toronto rap fans, it was the year of the diss tracks. First, it started with Lil Barrett. After videos were leaked of the Regent Park rapper in compromising positions, YG didn't hesitate to be the first person to share his thoughts on the situation.
Yo. Them take a bomber clock for in this. Yo. Party boy. Them need for step far from we. Cause them not in what we know. No cap. I seen Barrett in Montreal. Ask him if he said a word to me. Ask him if he opened up his mouth and even said something to me. His homies are around me, and guess what they're trying to ask me? Why did you come to my neighborhood? Why you making stories in my neighborhood? Why you going to my neighborhood and making stories in my hood? Cause what do you mean why am I making stories in your hood? Your hood is fucking legal. Anybody could come out there and stand up and make a story over there. The fuck? You guys are not out there. You guys are babies. These guys came to me, 35, Big Boss 35, to ask him why he was in their neighborhood. Ask them what they were talking to me about. Why were you in my neighborhood?
Why
just beat the boat and he moving dusty.
YG's terrorization of Regent Park rappers continued a month later when he released a diss track targeting the late Smoke Dogg. Alongside Top 5, YG would earn his first #1 trending YouTube video with the diss. This also marked the first time an underground Toronto rapper earned a #1 trending YouTube video. YG's reign of terror on Regent Park ended there, as his focus quickly shifted to Malvern-based rapper Honcho Hoodlum. 2 months after releasing Heard of Me, YG would drop Blue Tea. In the music video, he can be seen wearing a familiar blue shirt while roaming the streets of Malvern. This, coupled with the bars,
Your block in my blue ticket, Glock in my blue teeth. If I see an outfit getting shot in my blue teeth, I'm not 2 times guy, but I gave him more than 2 pieces.
it's easy to see why the track left many fans stunned. The dissing continued throughout the end of 2020, but heading into the new year, it appears his antics may have caught up to him, cause WhyG was arrested all the way in Yukon territory. On January 21st, following an investigation, the RCMP initiated the arrest of 2 men in the Whitehorse neighborhood of Porter Creek at approximately 10:50 p.m. 33-year-old Harnick Binder, from BC, was advised that he was under arrest and attempted to run from police, but was successfully apprehended. During this ordeal, the passenger of the vehicle exited and ran from police. The passenger, WhyG, was captured and arrested after officers released a canine unit. He was charged with resisting arrest, escape from lawful custody, and possession of property obtained by crime under $5,000. Both men were released on conditions shortly after. Since being released, WhyG has managed to stay out of trouble and has continued to put out projects on a consistent basis. He proves that even in the dark, released on conditions shortly after. Since being released, arrest, escape from lawful custody, and possession of property obtained by crime under $5,000. Both men were released on
anything tracking me 3, 4.
conditions shortly after. Since being released, WhyG has managed to stay out of trouble and has continued to put out projects on a consistent basis. He proves that even in the darkest of times, the power of music and the pursuit of justice can lead.
You said what?
They made it seem like the way they was like presenting this shit, like the nigga was gonna get either 20 years in jail or the nigga was gonna die.
Nah, this is the best story ever.
This nigga got
nigga overcame all that. Nigga.
Nah, that's the fact.
Yeah, this is the best story ever.
You know,
A nigga, this is a beautiful ending. A nigga still free.
Beat this shit. Nigga went on the run 2 years. I ain't gonna fight. He definitely.
Yeah, he a legend.
He one of the ones.
He a legend.
He one of the ones.
Yeah, he get unlimited reactions on the page, just for beating the murder nigga. I mean, not a murder, but beat the booing, not a murder, but for beating this shit, and then you feel me? Like, I fuck with him, nigga. He get unlimited.
He went on the run 2 years.
2 years on the run, nigga.
He found a nigga in Ohio.
Ohio, nigga.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Chilling. I used to get it in Ohio.
Lead to redemption and success.
Yeah,
And
the end. Yeah, I gotta play that top 5. Heard of me.